All right. I know, this just came out. I already got it. It shipped fast. Hasbro Pulse surprised me with this one. My very first Spider-Man VHS 2-pack. The Vulture and Spider-Man. Let's take a look at the packaging. And then we're going to rip this bad boy open. And let's get a good look at those figures, because I'm seeing some interesting things about this Spider-Man. And I want to get a closer look at it. Right there, Spider-Man logo. 4+, it's still a lie. Some nice artwork of the characters right there. Spider-Man Vulture. Spider-Man vs. Marvel's Vulture. Hasbro. Warning. Choking hazard. Small parts not for children under 3. Underneath information. Recycle. Back of the box. You don't need the barcode. Hasbro. Choking attention. All that kind of stuff. And then the pictures of the figures right there. Spider-Man vs. Marvel's Vulture. Spider-Man Marvel Comics. Alright. Let's get it out of the packaging. Oh, wait. One more thing. There's a side to make it look like VHS. Alright, let's get it out of the packaging. Here are the figures out of the packaging. We're going to take an individual look at each figure and its accessories. So let's get straight into that. Alright, first here's the Vulture. Of course, we'll look at Spider-Man last. This is not your traditional comic book Vulture. This is the Vulture from the animated series, where his costume is literally completely different, as you can see, and I'll explain the younger head and all that kind of stuff when we get into the accessories. But let's take a look at the figure. Here's the head sculpt, and first, this looks exactly how he did when he was younger in the American animated series. You can see the head, the face looks exactly how it is, and the nice green marbleized plastic for the headpiece. And you can see his hair, how it has that nice flowing texture going to the back. And you can see the marbleized plastic used for the shoulder pads. You can see the nice muscular detail. That's where the wings slide in. I'll explain more on that when we get to the accessories. And the marbleized plastic on the gauntlets. Not too marbleized. You can't really see any coloring, marbleization too much on mine, which I'm happy about. And you see the different shades of green on here. His little gun, I don't ever think he really uses. He has a little capsules, a little capsule belt, a little belt. It moves a little bit, not too much. And then you can see the capsules right here. Funny enough, on the packaging, it looks like this is on the other leg. But the figure, it's correct to how it looked in the show. It was on his right leg, and on the back of the box, it looked like it was on his left leg. So they probably had to fix that. You can see the back of the figure, pretty much the same. Looked exactly how it does in the anime series. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure this might be new sculpt because of the added suit details and the strapping and everything. But it is completely pinless, which is good. And you can see the slots for the wings. So just muscular texturing, pretty self-explanatory, simple costume. It looks exactly how it did in the show. So let's get into showing you how the wings work, and we'll talk about his accessories. Here are the wings. He comes with the big pieces and then the 2 smaller pieces. You can see pretty easy, just like this teal kind of color plastic. You can see the lines for the individual feathers and the little clips to clip onto arms. So let's show you how that's done. Each one is labeled left or right. I don't know if he'll pop on this camera, but you see left right there, and that just goes on the left arm. And you just take the one that says left on here, and that one goes on the left arm as well. And then the same goes for the right, and you can see the tabs, they just clip in. And there you can see here he is with his wings, and it's a pretty good wingspan at that. That is a pretty good length. I don't know if the wings are reuse. They might be. I'm not 100% sure. My camera will focus. they could be reuse. The only thing I think of would be the Captain America Falcon figure, but I'm not exactly sure. But there's the wings, and then let's talk about the accessories over there, including the older head sculpt. He comes with talon hands that are made of that same like kind of light green marbleized plastic. It's kind of bright, so I don't know if it'll show up on here on the camera, but you can see there those are. You can see the little, if I can get this to focus. You can see the talons. Hold on, the camera won't focus. There we go. You can see the talons on his hands. And in the animated series, these talons are used for something, and I'll get into that next with the old head sculpt. But you can see there's those. And here is his older head sculpt, which is how this is how he regularly looks in the show. In the show, the talons are actually used to suck the life force out of people and de-age them and make them older, and it makes Vulture younger. That's basically the biggest change that they made. So a lot of it he is spent as a younger version of himself versus the older person. And for those of you that have seen the show, you know what happens when he absorbs Spider-Man's life force. He also absorbs his mutated DNA and turns into a spider vulture weird thing. But yeah, so we're going to take a look at the accessories on the character and we'll get into that. Alright, here's a look of what he looks like with the older head sculpt. You can see I also changed the hand set of his talons, which you can see this is how he looks sometimes in the show when he's not de-aging people. But usually Vulture, the real big difference is that he de-ages people. Obviously the costume is different, and then other than that, his name's Adrian Toomes. He still doesn't like Norman Osborn. Everything else is pretty much the same. Just small little differences, but not the traditional rendition of the Vulture, but I didn't mind it, and I did like it, and I thought it was creative, and the figure is really good. We'll get into articulation now, and I'm going to take the wings off for the articulation, obviously, and then we'll take a look at Spider-Man after all the articulation is done with this figure. Okay, first head articulation. You can look up and down. This head is a little tight, so I do recommend you heat it up, at least at the bulge joint. Actually, I'm going to take it off and show you what I mean. So I would recommend heating up in here, so that way it's not so tight when it goes on the dumbbell joint, because it can wear right there. So for that time being, I'm just going to put the younger head on. Obviously, he can look up about that far. The older head, he can look up farther because the younger head has the hair in the back. And he can look down that far, a little bit of tilt, and he can look all the way around. Arms can go perfect 90 degrees, and they can go forward that much and back that much. Obviously, they can't go all the way around because of the shoulder pads. And then he does have a bicep swivel, and he has double jointed pinless elbows. And then, of course, a horizontal hinge at the wrist. You know, because he can go like a cat, except he's a vulture. I know that doesn't make sense. He can hunch forward that far, which is actually really good, although he kind of looks like his spine sticking out on his back. And a pretty good hunchback for a flying character. This is actually really good. Combined with the head looking up, not too bad. His legs can go out a little less than 90 degrees, and then go forward at 90 degrees, and a near perfect split. He does have a thigh cut, which is perfectly hidden by the straps on his legs. Double jointed pinless knees. No calf swivel, which is a little disappointing. And ankles that can hinge and pivot. Now let's take a look at the main reason why I got this set as soon as it went in stock after PulseCon was over, and it is for the Spider-Man figure. I do not have a classic looking red and blue Spider-Man figure in my collection. So this is the reason why I got this set, because you always need one. Now, there are some issues, but in that I do think this figure is better in person than what it looked like in the pictures. So we're going to get into those. We're going to talk about the figure, look at the articulation real fast, get to the accessories because that's where the good stuff is, and then we'll look at comparisons between the Vulture and Spider-Man and other figures, and some head swaps with the Spider-Man. Obviously, the head is a generic Spider-Man head, although the eyelids are exactly how it looks in the animated series. They're a little bit wider with that kind of swoosh look at the top. You can see the lining all the way down. The blue is a nice, like, not too bright, not too dull, like a perfect shade of blue. There is a little bit of mishaps right here where the lines don't line up perfectly on line. No big deal. You can see right here some of the red is bleeding through on the lens. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but that's there. Also, the lens is it's not flesh, it's lifted. And then right here, there's a little bit of white on the bleeding onto the black. I do believe this is the Sunfire body, which was kind of surprising that they'd use this. I can tell because the way the shoulders are and the peg right here on the back, I believe that's the Sunfire body, but I was kind of shocked that they didn't use the Renee Raval's body, change up the red and blue a little bit, give it a new head. I think it would have been fine because Spider-Man that show is a little stockier, so I think that body probably would look better, but it does look good. Regular Spider-Man costume, blue. And the red and blue right here. The lines look perfectly painted on mine, other than the few things that are just a little messy right there. And then, of course, you know, the peg hole right here on the back looks a little weird. But there is also some blue paint slop on the red. But other than that, the figure looks good. The shoulders they look better in person than they did in the pictures. So there, yeah. We'll kind of discuss the articulation, how it actually compares to other Spider-Man figures in a few after we look at the accessories. But you can see nothing, just a regular Spider-Man coloring. Right here, this, what's it called? I forgot what these joints are called, but mine is this one goes a little farther back than this one does. So that is a little odd. You can kind of see that the paint doesn't go all the way because it goes too far back, whereas this one, it doesn't go as far back, so it's a little better. Alright, so let's take a look at the accessories, then do a quick look at the articulation, then some comparisons and some head swaps. So Spider-Man, instead of coming with wall crawling hands, he has two gripping hands, and I'll explain what those are for next. After a look at the hands, he also comes with two whippy hands, like every Spider-Man should, and he comes with two fists, but those are already on my figure. And then he comes with an unmaxed animated Peter Parker head sculpt. And he also comes with a mask that he can hold in his hand when he's unmaxed. And that's the point of the whole gripping hands. And then just a little added bonus, they threw in a Flash Thompson head from when he was wearing a Spider-Man costume in the Spider Slayer episode, I believe. Not particularly pertaining to this episode, but I mean, it is nice. Hopefully, if we get a new Agent Venom, we can use this on that body. But I honestly would have preferred a old Peter Parker head sculpt from that episode where Vulture drains his life force. His life energy, I mean. I feel like that would have been a little bit better for the set. But there's that. So here's what he looks like with the unmaxed head on. And you can see he can hold his mask. And this is if the camera will focus on it. Give me 1 second, let the camera focus. There we go. You see, that is like a near perfect image of how he looked in the animated series. They did a spot on job with his head. You can see the hair, the way it's sculpted in there, his face. And then it is a little tight getting the heads on there, so I would just heat it up a little bit. And you can see him holding the mask in his hand. And then I'll show you what the Flash Thompson head looks like, so hold on a second. And then here's what he looks like with the Flash Thompson head on there. It looks like Flash Thompson. I don't know if from the animated series. It looks a little old to be a college student in my opinion. Also, this head is for some reason really tight, so heat this one up also. I won't really be using this head on there. I'll probably put this head away in storage until they release an Agent Venom figure, then I'll use it then. But yeah, it kind of looks like him. Not too much though, but yeah, let's look at the articulation now. Alright, so this has the Sunfire body, I believe, but head can look up that far. It can look down that far. It has a little bit of tilt. It can go all the way around. Arms can go about a little past 90 degrees. They can go all the way around. And butterfly joint, not too bad going for that. And then going back on this one, obviously, it's got a really good, you can just really cock back his fist like he's getting ready to punch somebody. And then double jointed pinless elbows. And then horizontal bend at the wrist. And they can rotate all the way around. He can hunch forward about this far, which, as we know, not too bad. And he can arch back this far, which is just bad. This Spider-Man is not dodging anything like this, but this is not very good. Torso can rotate all the way around, and also Vultures can do that too. I forgot to mention that. Legs can kick about 90 degrees. They can go out this far. And, you know, thigh cut, double jointed pinless knees, a little tight, so I recommend heating those up. And of course, calf swivel, and of course, feet can bend and pivot. But yeah, you kind of seen the articulation of this before if you have the Sunfire figure. Still wish they filled in that peg in the back or just use a Renew Your Vows body, but alright, let's look at some comparisons and then we'll do some head swaps with Spider-Man. First up with the only Spider-Man villain that I have in my collection. Here he is with the retro carded Carnage. And you can see Carnage is shorter, which Carnage is supposed to be short. Now you can see how they scale right there. And then here's Spider-Man with Carnage. And here they are with another animated figure, the X-Men 97 Wolverine. And here they are with X-Men 97 Storm. Some movie comparisons. Here they are with Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man No Way Home. You can see this comic book figures and animated series figures are always going to be bigger than the movie figures. And Tom Holland's final swimsuit from Spider-Man No Way Home. And here they are with probably one of my favorite Spider-Man figures of all time, the 85-year anniversary Spider-Man, the Superior Spider-Man to be exact. And just because I have interactions in the comics, here he is with the retro carded She-Hulk from the Iron Man wave. And here he is with everybody's favorite Amazing Fantasy 15 first appearance Spider-Man. And this, the Amazing Fantasy 15 body buck, is actually what the symbiote suit Spider-Man from Secret Wars, that's what that figure body will be. So I'm very excited for that. And the web wing holes will be plugged in. So I'm looking forward to that figure. Now it's time for some head sculpts. Some of these may be funny, some of these may be weird. Let's get right into it. First up, that head is way too small for that body. He looks like he has no neck like some of those bodybuilders. Which, I mean, that Spider-Man was pretty big and bulky in the show, so I guess that fits him. And vice versa, that head just looks a little bit too big for the body. I mean, I guess you probably could make it work, but he looks like he has a giraffe neck. No thank you. And to be honest with you, that honestly doesn't look too bad. I mean, he's a little slender. The head might be just a smidge big, but I think he can make it work. That just looks weird. He looks like one of those Goombas from that really bad live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, I can't even get his head to be straight. That's how weird and odd it is. And this just looks freaky. He looks like the comic book accurate Wolverine from Deadpool Wolverine movie. Like, big head, small body. Not cool at all. And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this one. The head might be a little too big, but it's not bad. but that's not also how he looked in the comic books at that time, so I'm kind of indifferent about it. To be honest, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, he looks like he has a circular head, which is a little wrong. He looks like he's Muscle Man. I mean, the head isn't. Yeah, it just looks weird. It looks odd. It's too circular for the body. Vice versa, and that head is way too big. It looks like it's weighing the body down. Good lord, get that off of there. Yeah, just this was never gonna work. The head's still a little too tight, and he looks like he's a giraffe. He looks like he can reach the very top trees. Just no. I mean, I guess this could work. I mean, he looks like Tobey Maguire if he was jacked, but I mean, not too bad. The lines don't match up and the reds are off, so just might have to repaint it. On the other hand, yeah, that head is still way too big. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt this because I think I might break the joint, and yeah, it's too tight, and it'll still look like a giraffe. I'm good. Alright, today we had a look at the Spider-Man Anime Series VHS set 2-pack of the Vulture and Spider-Man. Final thoughts? Good 2-pack. I love the Vulture figure. The Spider-Man's figure is good. The main reason why I bought it. I do wish they did use the Renew Your Vows body instead of, I think, is a Sunfire body. Still not sure about that. The peg hole in the back does kind of irritate me and kind of bother me. There are a little bit paint mishaps and things not lining up on mine. Not a big deal breaker. Like both figures, this will be a good classic Spider-Man for anybody that doesn't have one. I don't have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. I'm hoping to see if I can get that on my card or something like that, so then I can compare it to that one. But this will be a good stand-in for, and then when I get another Spider-Man, I can use this one for the anime series and use the other one for a classic comic book Spider-Man. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the video. If you have any other questions, just comment down below. Let me know if this is a Sunfire body, and let me know if the Vulture is completely new body mode. I do believe it is. I'm not sure. But as always, folks, have an amazing day. Toy life, best life. Crimson out.